So, Carrie, tell us what we are going to be reviewing today.
Today we're going to be reviewing our Char-Broil brand electric smoker.
So, the smoker that we have, it does look a little bit, I guess you could say, worn. We left ours out in the rain for a long time before we ended up getting a cover for it. But now we have a cover for it. We'll leave a link below to the cover that we use for ours below. So, I'll start off by showing you how it works. So it swings open just kind of like an oven would, I guess. And it has a plug where it plugs into the wall. So when you're ready to use it, you plug that in, and then this clamp's closed. I'll show you how that works in a minute. We have a temperature probe, which plugs in right here. You can unplug this if you want and remove the whole thing. Or if you decide you want to cook with this probe, you can go ahead and stick it into whatever meat that you're going to be cooking with, and then it will actually let you know when the meat has reached the desired cooking temperature. So it comes with 4 racks, and depending on what you're cooking, sometimes we'll just remove whatever racks we don't need. Like the other day we cooked spare ribs from the store that we got, and we went and just removed 2 of the racks because we didn't need them all. So the way that you get this thing started is you're going to fill this container up with water, and you fill it right to the max fill line right there. And then you'll slide it right into place. And then this box right here is where you're going to place your smoker chips. So they'll go right in here. And we like to use the apple flavored ones because that seems to be what tastes good for most foods. So you'll slide that right back after you put the chips in. We'll leave a link below to the apple ones that we use. And it comes with a book. And the book actually will tell you what flavor chips you want to use depending on, how you want the flavor to be. And it'll also tell you how full you want to fill that box up. If you want to fill it 1/4 full for 2 to 4 hours, 3/4 full for 4 to 6, and all the way full for 6 to 8 hours. And if you're wondering how long things have to go for, that's on the next page. It tells you based on what you're cooking about how long it's going to take to cook each item. So there are 2 different settings on this. So let's go ahead and put this back in here and close the door, and I'll show you the settings. So the door closes like this, and it just latches shut. So I'm going to plug it in. So the book comes with very easy steps. The first step is you're going to need to preheat it. And all we have to do is turn it on, and we push the temperature button until it gets to until it starts to blink, and then we move the arrows until it says pH on the screen, which would be the preheat phase. Oops, there it is. And then to confirm that, we would just push the button again, and that's going to go ahead and start it up into the preheat phase. Now this is going to run for 40 minutes about, and then it'll start to blink, and then it'll be ready to actually set the temperature that you want to cook with. So it's all laid out in the book, and it seems a little confusing at first, but it's actually really easy. It's basically 4 steps. So once you're ready to set your cooking temperature, it's kind of the same thing. You'll hit the temperature button again, and then you'll set the cooking temperature to whatever it says in the book. So like, let's say we're cooking ribs, for example, we would set it to 225, and we'd hit the temperature button again, and now it's set for 225, and we're ready to cook our ribs. And again, I'm getting this information from the book here. You can see it says for ribs, cooking temp is 225. So now we just need to decide whether we're going to cook with the meat probe or whether we just want to not use the meat probe and just do the time. So you can choose either to just cook based on a timer, like we could let it run for 5 hours at that temperature, or we could stick the meat probe into the meat, and then when it reaches the desired temperature, then it'll just basically cut off. So if you're going to cook by the timer, you would have to push this time button here and set the time. So like if we want it to be 5 hours, we'd have to set that, push the clock again, and now it's going to run for 5 hours. You will want to unplug the meat probe if you're going to use that setting. So you could just unplug that if you're going to use that setting, but otherwise you don't even really need to do that. You can just stick the meat probe into the meat, stick it in, and then close it up. And what's going to happen is it's going to run until it reaches, either the timer runs out or it reaches the desired temperature of the meat. And then at that point it's going to shut down, and it's going to remove the the temperature back down to 120 to keep the meat warm until you're ready to use it.
So let's go over the cleaning and maintenance. We've had ours for a really long time and it still is running great. And let me show you how we maintain it. As far as this little container goes that you put the water in, this still will have some water in it and probably some grease when you're done cooking. You'll just want to make sure to dump that out and dry it out at least. Like, you don't need to constantly be cleaning this. We really don't fuss over it that much, but you'll want to make sure that there is no moisture in here afterwards because it will rust otherwise. And the box with the smoking chips, this easily comes in and out, and when you're done using the chips, you'll just want to dump them out. The chips are only ever good for one use. And all of these racks and this drip tray here are removable. They're a little bit large to really be like scrubbing in kitchen sink, but if you just want to like maybe use a pressure washer once in a while, or maybe like a bristle brush outside, that's like an easier way to clean it. I try to clean it maybe after like a few uses probably. This door will definitely get some grease on it after every use. And here's a little spot right here. I just left that there so that you could see what to expect. This is what it would look like, the entire glass door after like making something like ribs. And how we keep this clean is we just use a really nice degreaser spray. I'll give a link below for the one that we got on Amazon. And then you would just spray that and wipe it with like a rag. It's really simple. There is one other part that would need to be cleaned once in a while. Right on the lower right side here, there's a little tray. And this is another drip tray just to collect any extra grease that might be on the bottom. So you would just want to clean this out once in a while with dish soap and water. And I just want to add that anybody can really use this electric smoker. It's really easy to use. It's really not bad to maintain, and I really enjoy using it more than our propane grill. I just feel more comfortable using this, and I think that the food tastes better on it. There's really nothing like the flavor of low-cooked smoked food. I just want to add in a safety precaution here. Make sure that you place the smoking chips and also the water tray inside before you start the preheat, and please make sure that the unit is completely cooled at least for a few hours afterwards before you would attempt to clean any of these parts.
So I think that about covers everything. We will leave a link below to this electric smoker if you want to pick it up.